Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alana DeGrassa, and this is a short course, Module 4 recap of creating a social media blueprint. This presentation was presented at SCORE Boston, 10 Causeway Street by yours truly. Today, we are wrapping up a 4-module series, and the first message that I want you to remember is that the message is really in the numbers. When you are establishing a new social media blueprint or you're establishing a new project, you really want to be clear about your outcomes and your deliverables in terms of how you measure whether or not your campaign is a success. Our learning outcomes for today. Number one, we're going to revisit one of the earlier points of how to establish a social media framework. Number two, we're going to talk about how to build micro-influencer credibility with brand. We're going to look at how to conduct or create a social media calendar, and then establish understanding of some of your foundational ideas regarding social media analytics. So if you don't know me already, my name is Dr. Alana DeGrassa. I'm the president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. This is just some linear content to show you that I have been working in the field of personal and professional development for some years now. But in 2014, I established a digital course called Women Build Confidence. And that really allowed me to see that people really want the solutions that you say that you want to offer. And nowadays, a large percentage of those individuals will look for your courses or online material. And it really doesn't matter what part of the country they live in, because the beauty of social media is that you are able to form what I call a tribe or a group of followers to really understand you, your message, and your content. So I started the Women Build Confidence course in 2014. And then in 2015 and 2016, I really began to kind of develop both personal and professional experiences that were both online as well as within live events to help individuals reach their personal and professional goal. Now, if you haven't followed the modules from the first module all the way to now, I would encourage you to go back to this blog post and just click and watch the earlier aforementioned videos. So I would just like to piggyback on some of these ideas I mentioned. You know, when you set out to start your own tribe, you're not really sure in the initial design of who's going to follow you, how it's going to happen, and whether or not people are going to understand your vision or your mission or objectives. One of the best things you can do is once you look at your business or your project, you want to think of a really nice hashtag that people can really galvanize around. So when I started to really work towards helping both women, individuals, and entrepreneurs, you know, I listened to what the women told me in surveys. I listened from the coaching sessions. I listened from my talks that I give in my company. And a lot of the women loved this idea that we could upgrade our lives or raise the standard of what we are hoping to achieve. And so I coined the term hashtag UPML, which stands for Upgrade My Life. And I started to do a lot of Instagram live stories on Dr. D Inspire. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, feel free to follow me on Dr. D Inspire. But for the most part, you will notice that I am forming a tribe around that hashtag. And for the most part, it's really focused towards women, womenpreneurs, women in transition. So our colors are purple and white. And you know what? When you start to create a real tribe around something you're really passionate about, you never know who you may end up partnering with or serving with. So if you look at the far left, Miss Susie Carter, she has helped so many companies go from making 10K to 10 million. She caught on to what UPML was doing and has decided to be a part of a number of initiatives we have this year. And not only that, but women started to get excited around our hashtag. And there was a woman in our tribe who started to create t-shirts. This t-shirt says, "Let me upgrade you with Dr. D Inspire, hashtag UPML." Again, we started to create these wonderful live events as well as workshops. And here we see author Nicola Ramsaran, who joined us before she wrote her book, before she really started to launch off as a speaker and as a trainer and a coach. She started with Turning on the Lights Global Institute. And it's amazing to see what she's doing just by joining the initiative, just by joining our live event, our International Women Build Confidence Conference. And then to my far right, we see Miss Janelle Hall Blondell, and she also joined the tribe, living in a different country, but realized that she too could make an impact. So, you never know what kind of following you will have, but if you are very clear about the message and goal that you have, you never know who may actually come into your tribe. We'll learn more about Miss Blondell later. So again, I was able to form the Women Build Confidence Coaching Series digital course, and I partnered with an organization that helped fashion students, and so they wanted to create online programs, and this was one of the programs that they partnered with me on. And so you can see the Women Build Confidence course, and guess what? Here, these participants were all the way in England. So again, before you can get to that place where you're building true tribe, true community, you always, I think, have to do a SWOT of self, understanding who you are and what you want to do and how you want to serve. I don't have time to go into this as much as I did during the first or second module, but I just want to remind you to do a SWOT of self. Look at the opportunities, threats. I say always have a level of incubation, this moment where you really get still and clear about who you want to be, about your failures and your successes, so that you really can build a unique project, message, or program around what you're doing. And then you really want to think about how you can serve that industry. Here's a quick, brief synopsis of a target that I would focus on if I were dealing with one of my women building confidence products or services. And I automatically know the pain points of the women that I want to follow. So obviously you want to go back to Module 2 to understand how to conduct a SWOT analysis. So social media, again, is defined as forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content. Today, so many people are consuming social media. So don't be afraid to realize that if you start with one platform, you may not initially have a lot of people following you, but people will eventually come. Social media is not about one post and you're gone. It's about your consistency and your ability to really connect with those that you believe really need your product or solution. So one of the things I want you to remember, just like we all have unique fingerprints, you can really think about how your business, entity, or idea can have a unique purpose online. Think about how you want to focus your brand. Think about this as your own unique DNA, that you're going to have growing constituents or people who are interested in what you have to say and what you have to do. So when you think about coming up with an idea about how to create a social media campaign, here are some of your 5 basic components. Obviously, number 1, you've got to be clear about your message. 2, you want to think about your target. Then you want to think about how you can appeal to that target, and think about the outcomes and how you can assess whether or not you're able to hit your own personal milestones when it comes to reaching those that you want to serve, when it comes to having the revenue that you're looking for. And then I want you to remember that every single time you post online or you do something new, you're building your own unique brand equity. So you want to think about this as relationship building. You want to think about having consistent transactions with your consumer where you're talking to them, asking them ideas. Now we know that in 2019, video is very popular. So essentially you want to see that every single thing you're posting will eventually be an asset to you and your brand, and it will help to define your social media identity. So I really want you to recognize that what you put online is really like your ability for really coming up with a way to create unique storytelling. What are some ways to develop this presence? Number 1, consider 3 to 5 key ideas you want to communicate about yourself. Number 2, complete a vision of what you want the client to learn about your service or business. Number 3, create 3 objectives to describe the mission of your brand. Number 4, write a rationale for why you selected the visual representation for your design. 5, decide which platform you want to use and set clear parameters for engagement. For example, when you start to think about how you want to engage people on Facebook or Instagram, ask yourself, how many people would it actually take for me to really feel like I'm making an impact? You may have a new project, a new goal, and maybe you need 40 people to sign up. Well, if you want 40 people to sign up, it usually will take 3 times as much in terms of you engaging people to get those 40. So you will have to be consistent with your message, with your idea. Let's talk for a second about this woman, Janelle Hall Blondell, that I mentioned earlier. You know, she came to Turning on the Lights Global Institute a little frustrated. She was flustered because she knew that she was a skilled speaker. She had what I call the CMF Plan. Cross my fingers. One day I hope it will work. But we had to bring her to a point where she was able to reestablish her why. We clarified her demographic, and we created a beta launch. We created a newsletter, and really she saw opportunities to serve her niche market. So, you know, sometimes people are flustered because they have way too many things going on online. My big advice to you would be to narrow down on your key objectives for your organization, new project, or service, and think about 1 or 2 things with regards to messages that you really want to demonstrate to those you say you want to serve. So what happened with Ms. Blondell? Well, she will have received at least $1,000 in revenue in a 40 to 50 day window. She has a database of 250 new followers. She's even gotten television endorsement and recognition in her country. She's had opportunities for sponsors. She's impacting families, changing lives, and she's set to launch officially in 2019. You know, the message is truly in the numbers, and it's exciting to see her grow from just having a lot of ideas to finally being crystal clear about what she wants to do. And that can be the same with you. Again, remember Inspector Gadget? See, when people are actually going online to research a solution, they're just like Inspector Gadget. They're looking through tons and tons of web pages. They're opting into a lot of things, and they may eventually find you. Do you believe that your website right now or your strategy is working? I want you to make sure to analyze this, and please follow part 2 of this seminar.